All right, so today is Wednesday, the 3rd of September 2025. We're having a morning analysis session. Now, 8:30 a.m. this morning, there's going to be ECB President Lagarde speech. So the European Central Bank President Lagarde will give a speech by 8:30 a.m. That is roughly like an hour, 10 minutes from this time that we're on at the moment. And we don't know how this news will go, so I will advise we are very cautious with any open trade at this when this data, I mean, it's not a data anyway, when this speech will be made, because speeches sometimes could have its own impact on the market. By 9 a.m. also, there's going to be a speech from the Reserve Bank of Australia Governor Bullock. So I think today is a day of speeches by all these central bank governors. So both the euro and the Australian dollar are to be noted, for this particular event between 8:30 and 9. Sorry, between 8:30 and 9 a.m. this morning. All right. And after the speech by the Reserve Bank of Australia governor, the markets, there'll be no fundamental event till 2:15 p.m. this afternoon when monetary policy report hearings will take place from the United Kingdom. This is a report, so no data, no actual, no forecast. The only tradable event today will be the JOLTS job opening from United States by 3 p.m. It's a high impact event. We don't expect too much volatility, but then markets may really react to it, and that's by 3 p.m. So we need to take note of all this time, all these events we have mentioned, so that we can manage our trades accordingly. All right, so I'll go straight to the chart now, and I'll show you the setup, the trade setup that I have for today. All right, so I'll go to the key ones that might evolve in the course of today. Morning, Mr. Barra. Good news. Morning, Madam Monaji. All right, you're welcome on board. Now, today I'm looking at the Euro JPY. I made mention of this instrument yesterday. It was part of my analysis yesterday, and I think today might be that breakout, we've anticipated on this instrument. More so, the speech that will be released by the European Central Bank governor might trigger this bearish movement on this instrument. So this is the Euro JPY on the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, we can clearly see that price is trading, or rather price hit a resistance zone yesterday and closed on that resistance zone with a rejection candlestick pattern, which can be seen, here. Just a second, please. All right. I'm trying to admit more people into the group. All right. So price is hitting, or price already hit this resistance level on the daily time frame. We have a touch here and a third one. So technically, we're looking for a reversal in price. And we go down to the 4-hour time frame. We still can see that rejection candle very visible right here. But most importantly, I'm seeing an additional information here, which is a head and shoulder and possibly, a movement downwards. All right, so technically, I'm looking at a bearish movement on this instrument in the course of today. Yeah, and I will take it down again to the 1 hour time frame. And it's still the same thing I'm seeing. We have a shoulder, a head, a second shoulder, and I'm expecting a bearish breakout. I can still draw a trend line right here. All right, so in the course of today, if a new candle opens below this region, then we'll get ready for a bearish breakout on this particular instrument. Now, the other side is this. I'll use my Fibonacci tool to look at the projected profit levels we could hit with this setup. If you have like some 5 pips below the current, low, or let's make it, this could be a volatile instrument. Let's look at some 7, 8 pips. All right. So to Fibonacci, 38 can give about 15 pips. Fibonacci 50 can net about 44 pips, and Fibonacci 61.8 can net as much as about 70 pips. So between 15 and 70 pips is possible, in the course of today, if all things being equal on this particular instrument. So watch out for this Euro JPY breakout in the course of today. It's an intraday setup, so I see it working in the course of today. And secondly, is a close one to the Euro JPY, and that is the New Zealand JPY. They're still in the same JPY family. Now, for New Zealand JPY, we can see here price is trending downwards on the daily time frame. We have a downtrend, a lower high, a third one, and technically we should have a further bearish movement. Then there's a previous support turn resistance here, but then it's not so sharp on the daily. It's more clearer on the 4 hour. But we'll not neglect the fact that a rejection candle is forming here. Though on the daily, though it's still the daily time frame, anything can happen. But let's go down to 4 hours so that we can get more clarity. All right, so you can see on the 4 hour, we had a previous rejection candle here. In fact, there are two. There is a rejection candle exactly on the trend line, a second one still on the trend line also. So technically, this is also giving us a bearish outlook, and there's also a previous support turned resistance. So this region here is a confluence region where you have the trend line meeting with the support turned resistance and rejection candle. So technically, this should also give us a bearish breakout, just like the Euro JPY. So we'll take it down to 1 hour. Now, if you have not watched the video on how to supercharge your trading with top-down analysis or multiple time frame analysis, go on our page and click the link. It's on YouTube, but I dropped the link in all the groups. Go up on your groups, watch that video. It will make you understand what we do here clearer. How we move from one time frame to the other. The bigger time frame is essentially to get direction, while the smaller time frame, big time frame like daily time frame, is used to get direction, while the lower time frame like 1 hour or sometimes 15 minutes is used to get entry. All right, so I've scaled down now to 1 hour time frame, and I'm seeing a rising wedge pattern. It's possible price may retrace a little because I'm still seeing the head and shoulder, but the second shoulder is not forming yet. But if it forms, we'll have a drop. Now, I always say we don't get hung up on patterns. If it happens, fine. If it doesn't, no big deal. We might as well have a clear breakout downwards. It's any of those two scenarios that may work out. The most important thing is that we are waiting for a breakout below the lower trend line and the support zone. And that is essentially to trigger a downward movement on the New Zealand JPY. Good morning, Mr. Garba Mukhtar, Rex Peters, pardon me. Good morning. Clement Ogushola, good morning. All right, so we have a bearish outlook also on the New Zealand JPY. And don't forget also, our final confirmation is the RSI. RSI below 50 will be our final confirmation for an entry. So watch this closely. And like I did for the Euro JPY, let's look at the potential profit we could make on this also. Potentially, we could see price drop to Fibonacci 38.2 at about 12 pips, Fibonacci 50 at about 26 pips, and Fibonacci 61.8 at about 40 pips. So between 12 to 40 pips, or let's say conservatively, between 10 pips to 40 pips is possible on this instrument in the course of today. For those who joined us late, I've analyzed Euro JPY, where I said we are looking for a bearish breakout. And at a point I forgot to mention with the Euro JPY is our final confirmation, which will be the RSI. That's the relative strength index. It must be below 50 at the time the breakout happens, below the lower trend line on the Euro JPY on the 1 hour time frame. All right, so we're bearish both on Euro JPY and New Zealand JPY. Now, the third instrument I'm looking at this morning is the DJ30. On Monday, we saw a clear setup on DJ30 and it worked beautifully well. And somebody was asking yesterday if there was any setup, and I said, I didn't see anyone. It doesn't mean that it's every day you'll be seeing setup on all these instruments. No, with price action, that doesn't work, except you're doing scalping, fine. But if you're doing price action on multiple time frames, you may not see signal on a currency pair every single day. But if you look across different currency pairs, definitely you will see trades on multiples of different currency pairs or financial assets. Now, for the DJ30, this is my outlook for today. Now, price hits yesterday, further to the bearish analysis we had on Monday, price dropped lower again. It moved downwards again further, breaking out more downwards. Breaking out more downwards. Just a second. All right, but in the process of breaking out downwards, it hit a previous previous resistance, which is now a support. So, and price closed, though we cannot call it a perfect rejection candle because half of the size of the candle is, the real body, while half is a shadow, but nonetheless, we will not deny the fact that we have some long shadow there, which can lead to a reversal. So technically, we'll be looking at a reversal opportunity in a bullish direction on the DJ30. So let's scale it down to 4-hour time frame. Nothing much on 4-hour. We'll take it down to 1 hour. Now on the 1 hour time frame, let me go to 30 minutes again. Let's see. Still the same thing. 15 minutes. All right, I think I'll stick with the 1 hour. On the 1 hour time frame, a reversal pattern is actually forming right here, inverse head and shoulder, which may trigger a movement to the upside. This region here will be the neckline. So if price is able to break out, you can see this is already forming a bullish engulfing candlestick pattern, though we can't confirm until 8 a.m., but that's already what is forming at the moment after a downtrend, a bullish engulfing candlestick pattern. If price is able to break out above this trend line, which is the neckline, a new candle opens above here, then we'll see price will be triggered, upwards on the DJ30. Now, this instrument is DJ30 on our platform. Some others may have it as US30, but it's still the same. It's Dow Jones. It's Dow Jones Industrial Index from the United States. All right, so from this region here, we might look at taking a bullish trade, as in once a new candle opens above the trend line, we may see price go to the upside on DJ30. Now, I advise you trade this instrument with a lot of caution because it can be very volatile. We can see up to 91 pips from that region to Fibonacci 50, about 179, I just say 170 pips to Fibonacci 61.8. So between 90 and about 170 pips is possible on this instrument in the course of today on the DJ30. All right, so these are the three main instruments I'm analyzing for today. We're bearish on New Zealand JPY, we're bearish on Euro JPY, and we're bullish on the DJ30. Now, I also have a setup on gold. Now, some have been asking gold. I'm actually coming to that. I have a setup also for gold. Now, gold hit an all-time high of 3,000. It's currently trading at $3,534 per ounce on gold. The previous all-time high was here. That happened much earlier. That was around April. Let me confirm. This was sometime April. Yeah, April. Now that was like some 4 months, 5 months ago. Now price shoot up above it, shot up above it now yesterday, hitting an all-time high of $3,535 per ounce. Now, this is what happens most of the time when price breaks out above a recent high. It may come back to retest that previous resistance now as a support before climbing higher. Now, the analysis from JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs says that gold may likely hit $3,700 per ounce before the year runs out. Now, the year is gradually running out. You know, this forecast has been in the financial space in the last like 3 months thereabout. You know, that gold will hit 3,700. Now, it's at 3,500, just about 200 pips to go to hit 3,700 per ounce to round up the year 2025. In fact, there's already a projection that by the second quarter of 2026, that's by the ending of June in 2026, gold will hit about $4,000 per ounce. So if you're trading gold on a long term, which I know most of us don't, the possibility is there to go higher. But then most of us are intraday traders, so I will encourage you to trade with caution because of the intraday volatility on gold, which we need to be very cautious about. So this is the daily time frame on gold. We've seen on the daily time frame that price has broken the previous high, which is the previous resistance. Like I said, I'm not saying it's a must that I will come and touch it, but we may see some retracements before we have a further continuation. So without taking our time, let's go to 1 hour time frame and finally 15 minutes time frame. Okay, let me go back to 1 hour. It's not so clear on 1 hour, but I think we have some clarity. Okay, 30 minutes is still good. All right. So here on this lower time frame, preparing for that retracement, gold is forming a head and shoulder pattern, which may see price, drop. Now, if this pattern works, like I always say, all things being equal, if it works out just like I'm seeing, this is going to be the neckline region. So if a new candle opens below this neckline, yes, price may drop. Will it touch the previous resistance non support? Well, maybe, maybe not, but at least there should be some appreciable bearish movements. And as usual, I'll use my Fibonacci to get reasonable price levels reasonable levels rather, that price could hit. Price could hit Fibonacci 38.2. That is as good as possibly a guaranteed level. And price could hit Fibonacci 50 and Fibonacci 61.8. Any of these three levels, price has the probability of hitting any of these. So if you're there, you trade gold, watch out. There could be some breakout in gold, possibly today. And these movements, can be massive. So trade with a lot of caution. We're seeing up to 94 pips to Fibonacci 38.2, about 180 pips to Fibonacci 50, and about 250 pips to Fibonacci 61.8. Trade with caution. All right, so those are the four instruments I'm analyzing today. I've analyzed Euro JPY, New Zealand JPY. I'm bearish on 1 hour for both of them. I'm bullish on DG30 and I'm bearish on gold. All right, so that'll be all from my end this morning. If you have a question, just go ahead and drop it in the comments section and I'll attend to you. Okay, I'm seeing Rex Peters is asking about AUDJPY. Mr. Barra is asking about USDCHF. And Mr. Clement Ogunshola is asking about BTC. So let's look at these three assets. I'll start with the AUDJPY. Most of the JPY pairs are just bearish, generally bearish. Okay, you can see now this is the AUDJPY. Let me start from the daily. All right, so this is AUDJPY on the daily time frame. You can see price clearly hitting a resistance level on the daily time frame. On the upper side there is a resistance, and there is actually another resistance between here and here. So either ways we want to look at it, we have price hitting a resistance level twice. We have a resistance here, here, and the tip of the candlestick right there. That's the first level of resistance. The second level of resistance is between here, here, and the lower part here. So we have a valid resistance level. Now the current daily candle is forming a rejection candle, but it's daily time frame. So we wouldn't want to put our attention too much on that because candles can change within the trading day if it's a daily time frame. If it had closed yesterday as a rejection candle, that would have been a different thing entirely. But notwithstanding that, the yesterday candle actually closed on this resistance level. So we still have a valid resistance and we're looking for the opportunity for reversal from the daily time frame. Now, if you go down to the 4-hour time frame, we can see we still have this very sharp reversal candlestick pattern, pin bar, bearish one for that matter. That is a strong indication of an impending reversal, and we take it down to 1 hour. All right. So in the course of today, we'll be anticipating a breakout downwards. Like I said, for the New Zealand JPY, we may end up with a head and shoulder and a drop, or we can have an outright breakout. Don't get ongoing patterns. If it happens, fine. If it doesn't, no problem. Just we're waiting for a breakout downwards. And don't forget your confirmation, your RSI below 50 will be your final confirmation to take a bearish trade. So we're waiting for a new candle to break out. We'll confirm RSI below 50. Then we'll see price will crash downwards. So we're bearish on the AUD JPY, just like we're bearish on the New Zealand JPY and the Euro JPY. And this might even be more like a swing, from the setup I'm seeing. It may take more time before price hits profit because the distance price could move is actually wider. Fibonacci 30.2 can give as much as about, let's say, 35 pips. Fibonacci 50 can give as much as about 70 pips, and 61.8 Fibonacci 61.8 can give as much as 100 pips. So watch out for all these instruments in the course of today. And next one is USDCHF, and finally the BTC USD. Let me just quickly check the dollar index, the USDX, for clarity on the USDCHF. Okay, now for the USDCHF, I remember analyzing this on Monday and telling us that I was bullish because price hit a support level on the daily time frame, forming a triple bottom pattern. It could have been an inverse head and shoulder if the breakout was below the support zone, but it wasn't below, so it's just still like an inverse, but we call it a triple bottom pattern because they are all on the same level. And I said it on Monday that this will give a bullish breakout, which has happened already. And I remember the second level of the analysis was that this region here is the neckline region. That if price could break out above this region, we'll see a further bullish breakout. Now, price touched the tip of that resistance. So the next question is this: if there's enough volatility and price breaks out, we'll see a bullish breakout. If not, we may see a retracement. So we're in between a breakout and a retracement on the dollar index, and that will impact upon the major currency pairs. So on the short term, we may be looking at a bearish movement. On the long term, we're looking at a bullish movement on the USDCHF because that's what I'm seeing on the dollar index. All right, so back to the USDCHF now. This is the USDCHF on the daily time frame. We've not had much volatility lately. You can see some descending trend line. A kind of a falling wedge pattern, where if the dollar comes out good later on in the day, we could see a bullish breakout or price may retrace within this pattern. So we'll go down to 4 hour and 1 hour and look at clearer, possibly clearer entries if there's any. So we see lower high, a third lower high around a resistance. So technically, we may be looking for a bearish movement on the short term on the USD Let's take it down to 15 minutes. Okay, it's not clear on 15 minutes. All right, so in the course of today, price can break out in either direction, but if it breaks out in the lower as in below this trend line, we will see a bearish movement on the USD and if it breaks out above this resistance, we'll see a bullish movement. So we are in between a buy and a sell, but the sell will be short term while the buy could be a longer term. So watch out for USD in the course of today, and let's see where the breakout will happen. So the downside will be just a minor movement. Price will retrace, breakout, or price could as well break out. Let me draw this better. Break out downwards or break out, retest the resistance, turned support, and climb higher from there. Those are the two scenarios around the GBP, sorry, USD in the course of today. So let's watch out for that. All right, so finally, I'll look at the BTC USD. Yes, always use your RSI for your final confirmation, depending on the time frame for your entry. If 1 hour is your time frame for entry, yes, confirm with 1 hour. If it's 15 or 30 minutes, confirm RSI on that time frame also. So just always confirm as your final, use that for your final confirmation on the time frame for entry. Okay, so finally I look at that my statement now is a response to Mr. Levinus Chinedu. Somebody just entered the group. Please mute Mr. Barra. Good news. Kindly mute your device. BTC USD is the last one we're checking. You're very much welcome, Mr. Livinus. Mr. Barra, you're disturbing my class. Do you want to make a call, drop a comment or something? I see him on muting. All right, so finally we look at the BTC USD. No problem, you're welcome, sir. BTC USD. Okay, so let's start from the weekly. Price has moved just like our analysis. A previous resistance turned support on the weekly time frame. Yeah, that was our outlook earlier at the beginning of the week. Previous resistance turned support. Technically, we have a bullish outlook, and we can see that price is trying to move in the bullish direction. So let's go to the daily. Still very valid on the daily. Yesterday, price experienced a jump. 4 hour. All right, so we have a falling wedge on the 4 hour. That's a big one for BTC, as in a big time frame to trade BTC. But let's scale down to 1 hour. Now, I believe it's still going to be bullish, but we can see. Okay, let me remove this so that I can see clearer. We have a rejection candle, a rejection candle. Both of them formed a resistance, and that is what is responsible for the little decline we are seeing at the moment. But technically, since the all-time direction, overall direction is bullish, price may still break out upwards. So this is what I will advise. We have a resistance zone here and wait for price to break out, retest, and continue higher. So I'm bullish on BTC USD, but price needs to break the current high, which is also a resistance zone, break out, retest before climbing higher. So it's a bullish one, but it's not yet time to enter. Wait for price to break out, retest, then continue from after the breakouts. And you can see that has been happening recently. This is where the initial breakout happened. It retested, broke out, retraced, retest, and we're expecting another breakout. So the trend is still very much bullish. Only price needs to break that resistance zone. All right, so that'll be all from analysis this morning. You're welcome, Mr. Honor Nelson. We've analyzed a lot of instruments. If you joined us late, I'll drop the link to this video in your groups. Make sure you watch it to gain insight into all we have said this morning. We've analyzed the Euro JPY, AUD JPY, New Zealand JPY, and we're bearish on all of them. We've analyzed golds. We're bearish on golds. BTC USD, we're bullish. Just go ahead. USD CHF, we're in between bullish and bearish, depending on, due to what we're seeing on the chart. But then I would advise you just watch it again to get a clearer perspective to these assets that have been analyzed. Don't forget, Friday is the first Friday for the month of September, and we normally have our live trading session. This Friday will be NFP, non-farm payroll, the biggest event in the forex market. Don't miss it. At PU Prime, we trade this event live. When I say we trade live, it means we're going to drop the link to Zoom. By 1:15 p.m., we're going to come up live. We'll give you the entry price, the take profit, the stop loss. You take the trade along with us. We've been doing this for close to 2 years now, and we have over 80% win rate having live trading sessions. We trade 2 events live every month, the NFP which comes up the first Friday of every month, and the CPI, which is the Consumer Price Index, which comes up sometimes maybe a week after NFP or 2 weeks after NFP, depending on when the date is given. But then we've had a high success rate trading this event, and would like you to join us to trade this Friday. What's the requirement? A funding account with PU Prime. That's all you need. So if you don't have any account with PU Prime, now go ahead and open an account. If you don't know how to open an account, just reach out to me. I'll guide you through on how to get started to open an account. Once you've opened an account, you can verify it with two documents: your government issued ID and your proof of residence. Then afterwards, go ahead and fund and wait till Friday. We trade live and you make money. We make money at the live events, and I don't want you to miss this one. So join us this Friday. And tomorrow, Thursday, is another physical training session. We have two physical training sessions every week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. You know, we have two locations in Nigeria where this takes place: the Abuja office and the Lagos office. The address of the Abuja office is PU Prime Abuja, Work and Connect Building, 50 A B2 Ukiwe Street, Jabi, Abuja. And the time is 10:30 a.m. every Tuesday and Thursday. So if you live around Abuja and its environment, you live at Maraba, you live at Yanya, at Kefi, all those axes, find your way to the address I just quoted for training tomorrow, Thursday. And if you live in Lagos and its environment, tomorrow, Thursday is another day to have physical training, and the address is PU Prime Lagos. Agos Executive Lounge, 54B Adeni Jones Avenue, Ikeja, and the time is 11 a.m. So you live at Yanopaja, at Mowe, Surulere, any of those areas, Ikotun, find your way to 54B Adeni Jones Avenue, Ikeja. I'll be glad to have you. All right, so we've come to the end of the analysis session this morning. Don't forget to join us again by 12:30 p.m. for the afternoon session. Take care and have a great and wonderful day ahead. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome, sir.